The Modern Game Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 23 of the Modern Game Podcast. And it's a bit of like a new era for the podcast. As you can see, it's just the three of us again. So we're deeply saddened to announce that.
Whoa! They're going to be thinking, what the fuck has happened to him?
He hasn't died.
Oh, yeah, that's what it sounded like you were going to say.
Cabs he hasn't left the podcast, but he's focusing on his Spurs podcast, which I'll leave a link to it in the description because it is really good. But he wants to focus on his Spurs podcast, but we'll have him on as a guest, and he'll be on the Seven-a-side stuff when lockdown ends and whatever. So it's not like the end of Cabs on the Modern Game. It's more of we're now turning this into more of an EFL based podcast. And
because West Brom are going down, so it'll be in the Championship.
Exactly, Charles. We'll be in League One.
Well worked.
Yeah. Well, we'll all be in the Football League at some
we'll be in the football
stage of it.
And we feel like that we're all quite knowledgeable on the Football League to some extent. And I'm sure we'll be able to learn a bit more about the Football League if we research for the podcast. So to start, we thought with the new top five, we'll do players that have made the step up from the Championship to the Prem. A bit of like a stepping stone down, because we've been doing the Prem top fives, and now we'll do this little midpoint, and then we'll start doing Championship top fives. But we thought this would be a good little starting point. So we're doing from 2015 to now.
Yeah.
Players
so it's basically players that have either got promoted with their club and done one in the Prem, or they've signed from a Championship club and then made the step up and done one in the Prem.
And to
And
start,
it's players that, if they have signed for another club that are in the Premier League, they haven't played in the Premier League previous to that.
yeah. So they've literally started at the Championship and made their way
and
up.
then moved to a Premier club, yeah.
So to start with, number 5, I've got Jared Bowen.
Number 5.
I've got him at number 5.
Oh, I've completely scuppered it here.
We only just started.
Well, a disclaimer. Obviously, a disclaimer. I've got a slightly biased pick in mind, so take it with a pinch of salt. So Jared Bowen's not going to get into my list. I'm going to go number 5, James Tarkowski.
Oh, that's not a bad one.
See, I haven't got Bowen in my list either, but I have got a centre back that isn't Tarkowski. I've got him 4th, but 5th I couldn't really think of anyone else, so I went with Watkins, just from what he's done so far this season.
See, I had Watkins as my top honourable mention, but I think Jared Bowen's had a better Premier League career than Ollie Watkins so far.
100%.
Yeah,
even
I
if
can agree with
he
that.
hasn't.
I would have definitely had Jared Bowen in my list, but like I said, one of my picks is just purely. Actually, do you know what? I might have put him in 4th instead of my 4th pick.
I forgot about Tarkowski.
I'm gonna put him instead of who I've got number 4. So yeah, he's gonna be in my list.
So is that all on number 4?
So Charlie went for.
Charlie went Watkins.
Charlie
went Tarkowski.
Do you not have a defender in your list, Charlie?
Yeah, I do. He's next.
I don't have a defender in mind, but Tarkowski is a really good one.
I wanted to put a defender in my list. That's why I've gone with Tarkowski. It was either him or Connor Cody, but for me, Tarkowski's been far better than Connor Cody.
See,
Charlie's Connor Cody.
Connor Cody's one of my honourable.
I haven't got Connor Cody.
You haven't got Cody?
So
No.
go on. Who's your number 4?
My player is a player who signed in 2015 from Barnsley, and I said that before, and you thought you knew who it was, Jimmy.
Oh, I thought you meant Trippier.
No,
Didn't he play for Barnsley?
no, he played for Burnley.
Didn't he?
Yeah, if I-
Burnley. Yeah, but even still, that would have counted.
he would have been a
Still
step
counted.
up.
I don't know whether you're gonna completely grill me for this, or you're gonna react like, "Oh, I should have had him." I've got Joe Gomez 4th.
You know what?
Tarkowski's a better defender.
How many games did he play in the Championship before he went to?
I don't know, but he still signed from the
He
Championship.
did sign.
so-
It is a credible shout, and he has played for
Yeah, it's
England.
a fact. He's played for England. He's been Liverpool's arguably he's been in their best pairing for the past 2 seasons ish, and in them seasons they won the Champions League and the Prem. So
it's a very, very decent shout. But
It is
obviously
a
I
good
haven't got him
shout,
in there.
but for me,
I
like
do
said,
agree with
if I was going
like
to have a defender in there,
Tarkowski.
it's got to be Tarkowski because he's been a better defender.
I do agree with that, but like being able
Tarkowski's
to
a great
step
shout.
up from the Championship and do what he's done at Liverpool. I know he's obviously got Van Dijk
Yeah,
and
that's
things like that
true.
around him, but to
Yeah.
have to step up from a team like Barnsley and win the
Yeah.
Champions League and the Prem, it's a good
You
achievement.
know what? I don't rate Joe Gomez much as a defender, though. I just don't think he's
Yeah.
a great defender.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
you
see your
look
point.
But I get what you mean as in terms of, I know what you mean in terms of
Yeah,
like, what he's
I mean,
done.
I see your point. I agree that Tarkowski technically is a better centre back, but the thing that separates him and Gomez for me is the fact that Gomez has achieved in the Prem.
Yeah.
it's mad,
right.
really, how Joe Gomez is only the second best defender to come from Barnsley in the 2010s.
Shut up,
Who's
Mark Roberts.
Mark Roberts. He's not even Birmingham's best centre back at the minute.
He's not even our fourth choice. Number 4, I've gone Calvin Phillips.
Number 4, I did have Calvin Phillips, but then forgot about Jared Bowen.
Phillips.
So I'm taking Phillips out and I'm putting Jared Bowen in.
I think Calvin Phillips was one of the best steps up
I'm just going to change my list.
from the Championship to the Prem out of anyone ever. Genuinely,
I'm going to put.
just did really well, and he literally, you can tell.
So why was he not top then? Why was he not top of your list?
Because the 3 I've got above him have had better Prem careers.
Well, yeah, because they've been there longer.
But Phillips really has made one of the best steps up, because I thought he'd struggle in the Leeds team that are very open. I thought he'd get overrun, but he's very, very capable as a holding midfielder.
I'm going to have to put him 5th and take Watkins out. There's no way I can have Ollie Watkins instead of Calvin Phillips.
Calvin Phillips has been, I really like him.
The thing is, it's like I said earlier with that. I did mention John Joe Shelby and he'll be mentioned in the honourable mentions, but it's just the fact that he's consistent and he doesn't do a lot in games, but he's just, if Leeds didn't have him,
He's consistently solid. Yeah.
He's the core to their team. He's one of the most important players in that squad by a country mile.
3rd, this is the one. So we were having a little chat about this while we were waiting to be ready to record, and I kept this one close to my chest because he has never played in the Prem until I think a year and a half ago, and I think Jamie will kick himself when I say who I've got 3rd. I've got Harvey Barnes. So me and Jamie were having a little discussion about West Brom players, and Jamie kept thinking, "Oh, Dan must have Matthias Ferreira. I've got Harvey Barnes 3rd. He obviously played for Barnsley, which is where the infamous Coventry clip came from.
I'm changing my list again. Brom,
and now he's absolutely smashing it for Leicester.
Yeah.
And Jamie's going, "Who's this star boy you've got? Who's this star boy you've got?" He's a shout to start for England in the Euros.
Brian is pouring down my window and I'm just staring out of it. It's like an album cover. Oh. See, I want to change my list, but I don't want to change who I've got 3rd because I've got Matthias Ferreira. And like I said, it's a biased pick.
But do you think Matthias Ferreira has had a better step up than Harvey Barnes?
Of course I don't, but like I said, it's complete bias.
And you know what? That's why I kept that one close to my chest. I knew that was a great shout.
Yeah, it is. I completely forgot
I've got number 2, man. I might have to take out my number 2. I can't take out number 2 and 1. I can't take out.
You can't take out your 2 or 1.
I'm gonna have to take Phillips out. My 5th place is.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to take out Phillips. You know,
your 5th place has done a Callum Hudson-Odoi.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
I think I might have to. I took out Phillips for Bowen, and now I think I'm gonna have to take out Bowen for Barnes.
Yeah, it does make sense.
So number 5, I'm going Tarkowski. Number 4, I'm gonna go Pereira. Number 3, I'm gonna go not Barnes. I'm gonna go Jota 3rd.
That's absolutely disgraceful.
Why is it?
If you're having your 2nd place as that certain West Brom player that has gone up this season,
No,
he's moved
number
Pereira
5
down.
Tarkowski, number 4 Pereira, number 3 Jota.
Okay.
So
maybe I need to talk a bit about Pereira now.
Oh yeah, you do.
To justify why he's in the top 5.
So obviously now I've got Tarkowski, Pereira, and then Jota. So obviously Bowen would have probably made. My list's been like overrun by players I completely forgot. The only reason I've got Pereira is because obviously I'm a West Brom fan. He's the most exciting player I've seen play for my club in about 10 years, 15 years.
Surely in your lifetime,
And I
to get
think
20 assists in a season is absolutely ridiculous.
I mean, but obviously, I really did enjoy watching Lukaku at West Brom as well,
no,
and
fair enough.
Adam Wingy as well.
I was just thinking about all the
But
shit players
obviously,
we've had.
last season he was. I don't think you could argue he was the Championship Player of the season. I think it's
Oh, he
hard to
definitely
argue
was.
that.
Oh yeah.
You could probably make a claim for Calvin Phillips, but I think Pereira was far more influential to our team than Phillips was to Leeds.
Pereira almost
I've never
single-handedly
seen
took you up.
Yeah, I can't believe a player like him has managed to get 10 goals out of Charlie Austin and Hal Robson-Kanu, 10 goals each, without a striker, without even a half decent Championship striker in front of him. I know Charlie Austin is probably one of the best strikers in the Championship ever, but not right now. He's not. He's how old is he now? 33, whatever he is.
I mean, he's smashing it at the moment.
Yeah.
He's gone back to QPR and he's doing very well, but he's a half decent striker in the Championship now. He's no better than where he's at, if you know what I mean. So for Pereira to be able to get 20 assists out of those two strikers in front of him, that is absolutely bizarre to me. He's the most creative player I've ever seen play for my club. And I don't think you could argue it.
No.
As a West Brom fan, I don't think any West Brom fan could come to me and tell me a more creative player than him. I don't think I could. Obviously, unless you're talking like back in the day.
Yeah, unless you go back.
I'm talking my lifetime.
But I think as well, what you have is when you get to about our age, you sort of understand more how good players are. Like when I was younger, that was when all Blues had all their best players, but I don't really like remember and understand how good they were. Whereas like when I watched Bellingham, I could understand like he's way too good for us.
The only ones I could really think of putting in the same like breath of him as him is like maybe Jason Kumas and Robert Corran, but
Jason
neither
Kumas,
of them,
what a player!
Neither of them really like made me. Obviously, I was young at that point, but none of them. I can't really ever remember either of them being as influential as Pereira was.
I hadn't heard about Jason Kumas in years, and then a lad we spoke about quite a lot. That T Garrett did a TikTok about him or Maradona, and I was like, I completely forgot about Jason Kumas. What a footballer!
He's a legend, man. He was a proper legend.
So we on to number 2. So Jamie, obviously you've got Barnes, I assume.
I said my number 3. Yeah.
Oh, who's your number 3, Charles?
I got Ruben Neves third.
See, I was going to have Ruben Neves third, but no, I was going to have Ruben Neves in my list. But the last 2 seasons, he's disappointed me.
Yeah, that's exactly the same as well.
I mean, I feel like
go on, sorry.
Okay. I mean, as much as he's not lived up to his how good he was in the Championship, he's obviously still young. He's still 23, I think.
That is mad to think about. 24. To be fair, I think he's 24.
And he's got one of the biggest potentials to push his career in the Prem at the minute, like from context, a player that's gone up from the Championship in recent years. But like Jamie said, I think he mentioned before about potential, he has got that. He could unlock it at any point because obviously he is still young and he has done well in the Prem. He was consistent before. And
he's one of the best players I've seen live in the Championship.
Yeah, just on ability, he's incredible.
Yeah, he is. For me, though, it's like I said, obviously, if I'm talking like not without bias, obviously he would be in my list instead of Pereira or probably Tarkowski. Probably not Tarkowski, actually. Probably he would be in there instead of Pereira, but obviously I've got a bit of bias that I'm not going to have Neves in there over Pereira. Neves is, for me, the season he came up, obviously he was probably one of the best Championship players the Championship's ever seen. Then he came up, his first season with Wolves was class as well in the Prem. Then the season after that, he just kind of, I think after that first season, there were so many rumours that teams like City, Man U, Chelsea, even Real Madrid, there was rumours that all of those teams were looking at him. And then he just kind of fell off.
But
And
in a way, he fell off.
if
I
he
think
would
in the first season,
maybe
he
if
got
he went in,
outshone by Moutinho as well. I think Moutinho was.
yeah, I think
I've got a
Moutinho
couple
would
of
be
mates
more
that are Wolves
solid than him.
fans, and they both all would say that Moutinho was a far greater impact to their midfield.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have
Yeah.
Moutinho in your list if he wasn't a veteran that had won the Euros and played in Monaco, Porto, and wherever else he's.
But I think as well, like because of those things, he's a lot cleverer.
Yeah,
and even if
I mean, like I said, Neves has still got another 10 years.
Oh yeah,
comfortably.
I mean, I still think he'll be a top
100%.
European player, but I just don't think
he's
lived up to what I thought he was gonna. I thought he was genuinely going to take Wolves to that level, but he hasn't.
After his first season, I thought that he might even leave and go to someone like United or City. I thought that's how good he was in his first season.
But would he thrive more there? I feel like if he moved, I think he'd thrive. I think he'd be a better footballer. I think he's one of them players that wants to move around better football.
But at this point, though, I look at their teams and he wouldn't get into their teams.
No.
Whereas 2 seasons ago, he might have, when he was how good he was. Yeah, I mean, fucking Mon would get in at Arsenal. I don't think Arsenal are an appealing club anymore, to be honest.
I think the most well suited he is probably Chelsea, because I feel like he's
in that too. But then Chelsea have already got Kovacic. I really rate Kovacic as well.
I do rate Kovacic, but how old's Jorginho now?
I don't rate Jorginho. I think he's okay.
That's the thing. He's how old? How old actually?
Is he getting over Kante?
Kante, you have to have Kante sitting behind them, though. I think.
But I think that I get that in a 3. If they play a 4-3-3, I could get it. But Tuchel's not going to play that.
I know, yeah. What I meant was you'd have Kante sitting, and then I'd have Kovacic and Neves.
Oh yeah, I think that's
in that system. Midfield. I feel like that would be a very, very strong midfield.
I think he could get into United.
Jorginho's 29, by the way.
29. Oh, is it?
I don't think he could. I
think he's better than Fred and McTominay.
Yeah, but
I agree.
When Man U play a holding to a Fred and Pogba or
you have to have that sitter.
You have to have a sitter, and for me, Neves isn't good enough as a sitter. And obviously, I'm not going to put him instead of Pogba. So
I mean,
that's the thing is with Neves. Just one last thing: the system Wolves play. Obviously, they play the three centre backs, 2 wing backs, and then Moutinho and Neves just as the sort of like rotational 2. No one else that Neves could make a step up to plays that system. The system that he plays so well.
Spurs do sometimes.
We do. Well, they do sometimes,
not all the time, but
it's. I mean, I wouldn't want him to put it down on his career like that. I'd rather him go to a team that he could actually play.
No, I'm thinking of like notorious top 6 clubs. The only other top 6 club that does play a similar system sometimes is Spurs.
Poch used to do it against the bigger teams, and he used to have Walker and Rose down the flanks, but now that's not the case.
Yeah,
sad to see.
Arsenal do it sometimes as well. Arsenal do sometimes play for it.
Arsenal do it a lot. To be fair, I think that's their favoured. If we were to pull out a formation they've used the most, I'd probably say it's that.
I mean,
I think a midfield 2 of Partey and Neves would work very well as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of Woody goes players from Wolves, number 2, I've got Diogo Jota.
Number 2, I've got Harvey Barnes now. Thanks, Dan.
I've got Jota.
Jota's my third place.
I think I would have had Barnes above Jota. Oh, I don't know.
Have we all got the same player?
I think Barnes.
I mean, we might as well complete our list now. Number 1, we've all got James Maddison.
Yeah.
The thing is, for me, that is the main factor that sort of separates the 2 of them. Obviously, since Jota went to Liverpool, he's been putting injuries aside. It's been incredible. Champions League hat-trick. He's won all games in the league, and you can't argue that he has been one of their most important players when he's played. But as a whole, Premier League entity sort of thing, Maddison's just been so good and so consistent in a team that is was a team that was mid-table, and now he and Vardy and a couple of other players have transformed them into a team that will be top 4 probably every season if they keep hold of their players and make a couple of improvements. It's just as a consistent for a couple of years now at least, he has been in the talk of best attacking midfielders in the league as well, and I feel like that's something Jota hasn't had yet. And obviously,
it's mad to think he's only had 1 appearance for England.
Yeah, I know.
Considering how good he is.
That's a credit to the England squad though, because there's so many options.
Yeah, the
reason keeping Maddison out.
the reason I've got Barnes third and Maddison top, because I think Barnes and Maddison are very, very of similar level. But I
Yeah.
think Maddison gets the best out of Barnes.
Yeah, definitely.
'Cause
Madison
Yeah,
gets the
I
best
think
out of
the way
Barnes
Maddison
Vardy as
draws
well.
people in leaves Barnes one-on-one. And if Barnes one-on-one is one of the best wingers in the league.
Yeah.
I think Barnes brings the best out of Maddison as well. Though I think they both bring the best out
They
of each
complement
other.
each
I
other.
think they complement each other really well. But I think the way Maddison draws players in and leaves Barnes one-on-one is...
This is the thing,
his
like you said.
footballing IQ is so high
If
for how
you
young
play
he is.
football, if you've played football consistently at any level, you know how important movement is. And Maddison's movement is one of the best in the league in the final third.
Yeah.
He knows when to go, he knows when to sit, he knows when to draw players out. And he always does that with his teammates' best intentions in mind. There's players that are similar to Maddison that will only make runs that will get them goals, make runs that will get them assists. But Maddison, I don't really think is too bothered by that, especially listening to some of his interviews as well. Obviously, I think he did that BBC Sport interview and he's talking about like he doesn't really set himself targets. And obviously he always pulls up the numbers, but he seems like he's a very selfless player. Like his movement and his,
I think you
like you
have
said,
to
his
be
footballing
to play where
IQ.
he plays. I think you
Yeah,
have to be a
like
selfless footballer.
Yeah,
Because
but
your
his
role
footballing
I don't know.
IQ
is to
sort
bring
of
the best out of other
complements.
people.
Yeah, it complements his
Bruno
teammates as
plays
well
a
as him.
similar. Bruno plays a similar position. I think he's more selfish as a player than Maddison is. Not that it works
true.
against him. Obviously, that works for
Yeah.
Bruno.
But I think when you've got a better striker in front of you, like if Bruno, and I like
true.
Cavani, but Vardy is for me twice the player.
Yeah,
So
he runs the channels a lot more than
when
obviously
you have
Cavani does.
when you have someone like that in front of you, I think you have to be selfless because you know if you play a decent ball and not even an incredible ball, a decent ball, Vardy's there.
Yeah,
So you have to be that sort of player. And I think, like you said, Charlie, his movement in the final third, he was saying in the BT Sport interview that he'd been in training, they've been telling him to make that sort of dart and run right at the last second. And you've seen he's reaped the rewards of it. I think he's their second top scorer.
Yeah, he would
joint
be.
with Barnes.
He would be.
I
he's got a
think
couple more
Barnes is a
than
better player than Jota. I do. I think he's a better footballer.
It's
I think he's got
difficult to
more
say at the moment
as
because
well.
Jota's injured. I've
The
completely
thing is, I feel like
Jota out of my mind.
I don't know. I feel like if
Barnes has got more potential.
That's true. I feel like if Barnes right now, so it's obviously we are only talking about right now, really. If Barnes went to Liverpool right now and played against Atalanta, who are a very, very good team in the Champions League, would he be able to score a hat trick? Probably not.
And I think just
I
his
just-
general
Yeah,
game. I think Jota's general game is slightly
Yeah.
better. I just think his awareness, his vision,
I think it'll
is
be
just slightly better. But that's not
better
to
to
say
judge when they're
Barnes
both in their prime because
It's like I said, this
No, they are
this
both
season, I
young.
think Barnes has been the better. I think Barnes has been the best winger in the league this season.
I think on
I don't
current
think
form at
there's
the
a
moment.
winger in the league.
Yeah.
I don't
I feel like
think
the thing
there's
is,
a winger
though,
I'd take this season over him.
in terms of how good Jota was before his injury, I feel like the only other player in terms of consistency that could rival that is Jota if he would have carried on going as he
Yeah.
was.
I think
Obviously, he would have dropped off, but
Jota and Barnes is a
dropped
very good debate that people haven't. I don't think people have had this debate. I think they have
Yeah,
very
people don't really.
similar ability and similar age.
they're similar players
age
as well.
yeah.
I mean, you
I
think
think-
about. I think the
Jota's
most
more-
exciting wingers in the league. Sorry, Jamie. Are Jota, Barnes, and I've got Neto as another one. I think they're at the
Yeah.
moment some of the most exciting players in the league.
I think Neto's
Jota's definitely more
about
adaptable.
3 years
Barnes
younger than
is.
Jamie as well.
Jota's far more adaptable than Barnes is in a way that obviously Jota can play anywhere along the front three. But to be fair, I did see. I don't know who it was that said it.
But did Barnes not play in
Was
the
it
10 for
Dan
you?
Dublin? I was just about to say. I'm sure Dan Dublin said that Leicester's replacement for Vardy should be Harvey Barnes, and he should just play as a striker. I'm not sure that. I'm
I
not
don't know
sure
about
I'd put him in as a striker over there. Yeah, I don't think that's.
I think if you got a
good
sitting
idea,
striker
but-
though, like I'm not saying Leicester could attract the likes of Firmino. Well, I mean, maybe they could. Someone who's gonna drop deep and hold the ball up for someone like Barnes coming off the left would allow Barnes to be that sort of talisman, and I think he could be pretty comfortably.
Barnes did play attacking midfield for West Brom a couple of games. I think he's better coming off the left, but I mean, he's anywhere he plays. He's one of my favourite players I've watched in a long, long time.
Yeah, I really like him, and I think he's a very good natural footballer. Like everything
Yeah.
about his natural game is good, and
It's like what we were
This
talking
season as
about
well.
last week. Like we were saying how the whole Barnes Rashford debate was a bit of a joke when we first started recording this season, and now it's not a debate. I'd have Barnes over Rashford every single day of the week just because of how
I was saying it at the start of the season. I know it wasn't.
saying that on
how good he
TikTok.
is in front of goal.
It was a
I
stupid
mean, yeah,
comment for
that's-
me to make at the start of the season because, like, obviously the season hadn't played out yet. But watching Barnes for however many games I watched him at West Brom, he's an unreal
Yeah.
football player. He's ridiculously talented, and he's this season as well in front of goal. When he's 1-on-1 in front of goal, I don't think I just have the knowledge that he's not gonna miss. Whereas I'm not comparing him to Sterling, but if you put Sterling in that situation, and Sterling's running 1-on-1 at the goalkeeper, I'm betting my house on that he's gonna take the one extra touch that's gonna take into the goalkeeper, or he's gonna try and run it wide, and he's gonna in front of goal. Barnes is a better player than Sterling.
I feel like to be a modern winger, you have to have what Barnes, Son, I don't know, Salah, Mane have. They have that. They have the ability to take players on, which every winger in the top flight should have. But they have that
It's a cutting
instinct
edge
in front of goal to finish like a striker, which separates them from the other wingers in the Prem at the minute. And like being able to chip in from other positions is one of the most important things the team needs. And obviously, Leicester got that with Barnes, Son with Spurs, and that's what separates the wingers who can like elevate their game to. I'm not saying to this level, but like what Ronaldo is doing in the Prem, he broke the record for the number of goals from the wing. And
I think that's like Bowen. I'm not saying Bowen's like Ronaldo, but I think Bowen's developed that.
Yeah,
Bowen's got that.
Yeah, I want to make a disclaimer. I'm not saying Harvey Barnes is a better player than Sterling either. I'm just saying.
I'm not saying he is, but he's got a case
instinct.
To be in front of him at the Euros.
At this given time, he's a better player.
Case that he should
in front of goal. My point is, in front of goal, if you're giving me the option out of two, and it's the 90th minute for my team, I need one person to be 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. It's either Sterling or Barnes. I'm not picking Sterling. I'm not. The amount of chances he scores, yeah, fair enough. His numbers are ridiculous for a winger, but they should be a lot more than what they are.
The thing is,
so many
get 40
chances.
a season.
I know he misses
so many chances.
No, it's not really very like fair as such to say Sterling's a bit of a tapping merchant, but if he was to be playing in a team that didn't have world-class players everywhere, players that can take players on no matter what situation they're in and put crosses in, put 20 to 30 crosses in a game to the back post that he would be tapping in. Barnes doesn't have that. Barnes has to create his own chances. And like you saw the Liverpool goal, the way he drove through from the left and slotted it past Alisson, like he was one of the most cultured strikers of the 21st century. That's what separates him. The fact that he's got that knack in front of goal.
Yeah. I think that pretty much rounds it off. It turned into more of like a Premier League debate, but from next week onwards, I think the Championship top fours will start to spark a little bit of difference, because I think it is quite difficult to rank Championship players, because you can only go off what you see, and some weeks players will turn up, some weeks they won't.
And that's the thing as well. The difference is we don't watch them every week. Like obviously, you can't watch Championship football like you can watch Premier. You can't watch every single game, so you've sort of got to go off just what you see, how many goals they're scoring, and not necessarily how well they play for 90 minutes, which you can in the Prem.
So I think we move on to the personal review. Do you want to start? Should we start with the Premier League team first? Soon to not be a Premier League team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say, to be fair. It's one of them. Look at my hair. It's one of them things where it's like I said, when we signed those players in January, it's too late. If we signed them at the start of January, or if we signed them at the start of the season, I've got no doubt we'd be probably where Fulham are now, or out of the relegation zone. Maybe we'd still be down there, but we wouldn't be as far gone as we are now. The performance against Burnley it's probably the best I've seen us play all season. We played second half, first half was awful. like I said on Twitter, the first half was just it's like a head tennis match between our centre backs and theirs, and everyone in the middle was just standing around watching it. But second half, we came out with 10 men, and we looked like the better team in the second half. We were unfortunate to not win the game. There was a couple of chances that you've got to take in the Premier League. If you don't take your chances, we're not gonna stay up, because Diagne did. There was I think it was about the 70th minute, 75th minute. Diagne bursted down the right hand side. I think it was Tarkowski who he skinned in the box, literally about 6 yards out with his left foot, and he just hits it's not as if he didn't try and hit it with any
It looked like he slipped.
Placement or power. It's like he just poked his leg at it, and it was nowhere near. For how close he was, it was an absolute sitter. It's not as if he tried to place it. It's not as if he tried to hit it with power. He just kind of threw his leg at it, and it just hit the bar. And I was sat there like, what the fuck is that? But they're the chances that you need to score.
But is that the difference?
I know we're down.
Is that the difference for him being a Premier League player and a Championship player?
Maybe.
Because I thought he did really well for that chance.
Yeah.
Like the build-up.
Like I said, for any striker I've had to sit through and watch in the last 3 seasons, he's the best striker I've seen in a West Brom shirt. Maybe Dwight Gale was a bit better, but I don't know, because obviously that was at Championship level.
Yeah.
But if you put Diagne in the Championship and you keep the players that are around it in terms of the creators, so if we keep hold of Pereira, bring Diangana back into the squad, maybe even, I don't know if there's any way of putting Grant back in the squad as well with those players in. But if you put him around those sorts of players in the Championship, I think he'd easily get 20 goals a season.
I mean, speaking of Pereira, I mean, you could argue he cost you the game a little bit as well.
Yeah.
With that one chance.
I made a tweet after the game saying I've defended Pereira all season, and I'll defend him when he does well, and people say he hasn't. But on Saturday, he was undefendable. He wasn't great at all. There was instances where he didn't do badly, but that chance at the end really did just put the nail in the coffin. I don't know what it was, whether it was the pass was there was too much on the pass. I don't know whether it was slightly behind him or if he just completely lost his head.
He just stumbled over his own legs. I don't think there was anything to it really. I just think I don't think he bottled it, but he just stumbled over his own.
I think he did well with the chance after that. Well, that came directly after that, where he
got it cleared off the line.
Pope, but somebody was on the line. Yeah, that was unfortunate.
Yeah, he did well for that actually.
They're the chances that we need to take. Like I said, if we're going to be, I know we're down. Everyone knows we're down, but commentators, pundits, all still like to say there's a slight chance. They don't want to say you're down until you are mathematically down.
Yeah.
So if we've still got a fighting chance, they're the games that you need to see out.
Yeah.
With the chances we had as well, compared to the minimal chances that Burnley had, they were awful. Like in front of our goal, they were shocking. But to be fair, I've got to say they should have had a penalty. I can't remember who it was, but they headed it down towards Bartley and his arm. I don't know what his arm was doing out there, but I thought it was a handball. I thought it was a penalty, but who knows what the rules are these days, so maybe it wasn't a penalty. But I do think we were unfortunate to not win the game.
I mean,
but
the good thing is,
win or draw that game, we're still down.
I think you are down, but the good thing is, if you can keep putting in decent performances, at least it gives you something to not build on, but something to enjoy until the inevitable happens. Like you said, you've dominated that game. Like at least you're watching your team dominate games. At least it's something.
I get what you're saying, but in the same way, you've got to look at it as we dominated the game with players that aren't our players, and that we've got no chance of keeping next season. So players like Yakuslu, Diagne might be able to keep hold of Diagne, but I'm not too convinced, because I reckon he's probably on a big wage, not maybe a wage that we can't afford, but a wage that you're a Championship team.
He's come from Galatasaray.
Yeah, from Galatasaray, and I know they're financially in a bit of a state, but I don't know.
It depends how much he wants to come, because I feel like players like that, if you want to play in England, You
wanna
might
play in the
take a
Prem.
wage cut. You want because you want to
thing
play.
is-
For me,
The thing
yeah.
is, though, if he's playing for Galatasaray, who are a team that are going to challenge for the title and Europe every single season, it's obviously different depending on which player you're referring to. But I think from his perspective, he would want to come to England to play in the Prem. I don't think he would want to come from a team that's challenging him, just like regardless of what country he's in, challenging for the title and getting and playing European football each season to come down to the Championship. I don't think it's a realistic thing for him to do in his
But
career
for
as a
me,
player.
if he wants to play in the Premier League, and a lot of players do want to play in the Premier League, that is his best chance of playing in the Premier League.
Definitely.
Because
I don't think
Yeah.
he's
For
getting
me-
anywhere else.
yeah, for me, I don't see him going to a Premier League club that's going to stay in the league and then just take him on. I feel like it's going to have to
Yeah.
be at a club like West Brom, who maybe has one season down in the Championship and comes straight back up. I feel like that's his only way in the Premier League. And if he wants to play Premier League football, that's his only way in. And obviously, players do. It is the most enticing league in the world. Players do want to play in the Premier League. Whether he is playing for Galatasaray, like challenging for Europa League or whatever, I feel like if he's already done that and he's already seen that part of his career and now he wants to take the next step of playing in the Premier League, this is his best chance. But I don't know. I probably would like to keep him, because if we keep hold of him, that gives us him and Carlin Grant, who can play up front as well. So that's two good strikers for the Championship. Obviously, Carlin Grant's been there and he's done it, and he's a very good Championship striker.
Yeah.
But you could also play him on the left. So I would probably take a risk on Diagne, but do I think he'll stay? I'm not sure.
And then Yukuslu, do you think he's got no
Oh,
chance?
Yukuslu, no chance he's going to be playing in the Championship next season. He's going to, if he doesn't play in the Premier League, he's going to be playing for a top 6 team in either Spain, Italy. I don't think I could see him going to the German league, because I don't think I don't know. I don't think he suits that style of football.
I like him.
But I think
He's a good
he's
player,
a
man.
very,
Big
very
horrible
good player.
skinhead.
I think he's a very good player.
That's
But
the
what I
thing
mean.
is though, he's obviously his tackling and the defensive part of his game is so good, but on the ball he's good as well. Like it's rare
He's
that
like a
you,
perfect holding
especially at
midfielder.
a club like West Brom. Like obviously, I'm not saying you're a small club, but a team that is down there and in trouble.
Yeah.
You never see players like that at clubs like that.
That's a
Ever.
great
Yeah.
bit of recruitment, to be fair.
Yeah,
Like you say, if only it was done earlier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If we bought him in at the start of the season, or even the start of January, then I think we'd be so much better off than
when
we are now.
when you put it into
Even
perspective, how many games have you watched that Romain Sawyers has played in, and he's been the main reason you've lost games?
I'd say at least 7 to 10 games,
Exactly,
at least.
and then that's potentially
Romain Sawyers
20
is
odd
not
points.
a Premier League footballer. At this point, I don't know whether he's even a fucking Championship footballer, because from what I've seen of him this season and towards the back end of last season, I don't know how we've gone into the season thinking that he's good enough to play. I don't know how. It's the same with Livermore, to be honest. He's a solid player, but for the Premier League, he's nowhere near good enough. I think Livermore's probably a top half Championship player now, and that's what he's going to be next season. And I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back into our starting 11 next season. But for a player like Yukuslu, I think the way that he can turn defence into attack within like a tackle and a pass is like it's what you see towards the top end of the Premier League, like towards the top half of the Premier League.
Just
I'm not saying obviously top 6 or anything.
You just mentioned tough half Championship, and I think that's a good segue onto Blues and Cov, who are really making a push for the playoffs at this point. I have to say, I can't believe it, Charles, but we've won a game each. We've actually on the same same weekend we win games.
I mean, let's not sort of, I don't know, compare the two, because I mean that's a game that we should have got absolutely trounced if you're just looking at it on paper, and it's a game you should have won. But I'm obviously not taking anything away from you, because it's a very important 3 points for both of us.
I mean, where are you? Are you more confident now than you were recording this time last week?
Well, yeah. I mean, you can't beat Brentford, keep a clean sheet, and be the better side without enjoying it a little bit. At least until we play Swansea away tomorrow. I mean, it's.
But I think you've got a chance. I don't
Yeah,
think
obviously we've
that's
got a chance, but it's like every single game. Like you wouldn't have gone into the Brentford game and give us a chance. You would have probably given us a 1% chance of winning. But I don't know. It obviously makes me more confident, but it's frustrating because we've already lost to Forest twice, and games like that we should be winning against teams that are around us to sort of separate us from the bottom three. It's games like that we're not winning. I think it's fairly similar from Jamie's point of view as well. Like, drop points against Fulham, Sheffield United, Burnley, etc., etc. And we're doing the same, and you were doing the same until you beat.
We just drop points against everyone now.
Yeah.
What it does do, I think, for you is even if Rotherham gets some sort of result from their game in hand, it puts you at a sizable gap.
Well, the thing is, though, with Rotherham, I don't know where this has all come from, because when we played them at home, I was probably it might have been just before Christmas actually, or just after. They were honestly the worst team I've watched. They were worse this season than they were when we played them last season in League One, and they're signed players. We beat them 3-1, and it was the most comfortable game of football I've ever watched in my life. All of a sudden, they're beating Middlesbrough, and they got like what 9 points from.
They're okay against us.
4 games. I just don't know where it's all come from. I feel like this is a massive purple patch, and they will suffer from it, and they will drop back down in the coming weeks.
And that's our only hope, really, because if Rotherham do start to go through like a terrible run of form again. Speaking of worst teams we've played, Sheffield Wednesday are the worst football team I've seen this season. Worse than Wickham, worse than Rotherham. We played. I'm not slagging Cov off, but the games we played against Cov are 2 of the most boring games in football history. Like we were both terrible.
It seems like every time we play each other,
it's so dull. But that Sheffield Wednesday team is one of the worst teams I've ever seen in the Championship. Genuinely, some of the things that were happening, I thought if we don't win this game, just relegate us now, because we don't deserve anything. Some of the things that we cleared the ball, and Sam Hutchinson, who was at Chelsea's academy, has karate kicked the ball out of play under no pressure in the first minute of the game, and I thought, well, if there's going to be a game, and obviously the red card helped us massively. It was never a red. It was never a red. We're talking about Championship refs. It was never a red. I don't know. Did I put the replay in the? Did I put a video of it in the chat?
I remember watching the Jukovic challenge against Millwall.
Yeah.
I'll send you both the red card that Shaw got. I mean, he's only 19. The poor kid. He's won the ball, and the ref has sent him off. It was never a red card, but it gave us a bit of like a. I don't know whether it's a subconscious lift but we turned up. We looked like a far better team than we are, and we actually looked like a team that wanted to keep hold of the ball rather than just smashing it long. And the goal came from us playing the ball from the back and creating space. Halilovic comes on within 30 seconds. We've scored, and that. I mean, if that tells you anything, that tells you why don't you start our best player? Because Sanchez is in a poor patch of form at the moment, and Halilovic has just turned up like you wouldn't believe. He draws players in. We were talking about Maddison earlier. I'm not comparing the two, but he draws players in. And for the goal, he's drawn their 2 midfielders in, and it's left Bella 1-on-1. Bella whips it in, and Hogan's on the end of it. And Hogan finally has had a bit of a kick up the arse.
After you splash millions on a striker.
Same thing what happened to him last season, wasn't it? He wasn't performing, and then he just
it's just February. It's always February.
Yeah, off the back
February,
of about 6 games, he was just like one of the best strikers in the league.
I mean, if we're going to start, we're going to need him because Cosgrove's injured now. So we spent 2 million on him. He's played 22 minutes, and now he's injured. So Hogan is literally our only hope. I could play a hologram. You are my only hope, because otherwise, if we're not going to get him scoring, we're not going to win games. And that sounds obvious, but we've got Norwich at home tonight, unless he takes that one chance that he's going to have, because he will every time you play a team in the Championship, you get that one sniff, and if we get that one chance and he takes it, we could seriously pick.
I mean, we played Norwich away November, I think, something like that. We had pretty much one chance and scored in the 93rd minute and got a point from the game.
That's what I mean.
And
It's
a
those
point
fine
against a team like
moments.
that is huge, especially from your point of view, because Norwich they are the best team in the league.
They're gonna go up. They're gonna
Like
go
even Bournemouth and Watford, comparing to them to Norwich, they're still in a different league.
in terms of balance.
That's crazy. That
As a balance, I
That's
think
crazy
Bournemouth
to
and
me.
Watford have more quality, but I think as a balanced 11,
Yeah,
Norwich have
exactly.
the best.
If Norwich,
Yeah.
I really don't think they will. But if Norwich manage to keep Wendy when they go up, like watching him against Coventry last week, the guy is an absolute joke. Like just on the ball, I don't know. He reminds me a bit of Pereira in the Championship. The way he'd get the ball and you'd know that something's about to happen.
I was going to go a bit more outlandish. I was going to say he reminds me a bit of Mahrez, to be honest. The way he plays,
I was trying to stay
style of play, not in terms of like ability, but the way he plays, the way he drifts with the ball, it reminds me of Mahrez.
I feel like he's more of, I don't know, I feel like Mahrez is an out and out winger, whereas Buendia, I feel like he's like a creative winger in terms of, I think Mahrez, the first thing he's got in his mind when he gets the ball is to get down the wing and beat his man. Whereas Buendia, I feel like once he gets the ball on the wing, his first instinct is to look up and try and create something.
But I do think he has that little cutting edge as well. Because when he comes inside, I think he could easily just crack one in the top corner. And he's like, I don't know whether this is just the bit that reminds me of Mahrez, but he's like, his skill, like he's got a bag of tricks. Like there was one game, I haven't really watched much like 12-30 championship games because obviously the Prem would be on. I can't remember who they were playing.
No,
the ball came over his shoulder.
Lazy fuck.
The ball came over his shoulder and he sort of held the ball on his foot and did an in-air flip-flap. And I was like, oh my goodness, we're having to play against him. Like Pedersen, poor Christian Pedersen, has had the game of his life on Saturday. I've been slagging him off all season. It was one of the best individual performances we've had all season. He won every ball. And now he's got to face this guy who's going to just tear him to shreds.
On paper, I think the top two teams in that league are Watford and Norwich. I think Watford is, I don't know, I know they're third in the league, but I thought they'd be right up there, man. I thought they'd either be top or very close to top. But Swansea are above them,
Swansea are one of those teams.
Games in hand.
Swansea are one of those teams that I say
so easily though.
They could, but I think they've got a chance because they're one of them teams where
of course they've got a chance, but I would have had Brentford job. Like I would have them last season 85%, like most likely to win the playoffs last season. It didn't happen.
Yeah,
and
what Swansea have that I think Brentford don't have. I think Watford don't have. Not from what I've seen. I think Bournemouth definitely don't have now. He's a top manager. Steve Cooper is one of the best managers in the league. And you look at teams like Sheffield United, who weren't good on paper. Burnley, who shouldn't really win the league on paper. Deutsch's a top manager. Chris Wilder's a top manager. That makes the difference in the Championship.
It's like
a lot more than players.
Wagner at Huddersfield as well.
Exactly. That's a great example. Nathan Jones at Luton. Luton should be dead and buried.
Yeah, Luton should be in League One, let alone dead and buried in the Championship.
Barnsley. I mean, I've never heard of this fella, but their team is terrible. Callum Stiles looks like a world beater.
They've got Chaplin, and they did have Luke Thomas, who played in our promotion season last. No, they didn't. No, Luke Thomas was the season before, but they were both bang average players for us, and now they're playing in a top half Championship team. I don't know how.
I think the manager
managed to get the best out of them.
And that's a theory that I think a lot of people don't really pick up on. That a manager for me is a lot more important than good players.
Yeah.
Like you look at us now on paper, our team is far better than 21st in the Championship, but our manager, and again, I wasn't going to be negative all weekend, and I wasn't. We won the game, it's fine, but to show that sort of naivety against 10 men, just put the sword to them. Don't, because we took off Bella and Sanchez and brought on 2 centre halves and went 5 and technically an anchor, so 6-3-1. Okay, just take the game to them there. They were on the edge. We were ready to just get them by the throat. We could have easily won that game 2 or 3-0 in the second half. And instead we let them come on to us. And at the end, Etheridge has had to pull out a blinding save, which wouldn't have happened. We could have just took the game to them. And they would have
I feel like that argument definitely does work more for the Championship than it does in the Premier League.
What,
where
the manager?
Definitely.
Manager player debate.
if you look at a team like Burnley, and although that is the same case, they've got like a top manager and a really shit side. I know he's kept them up now for how many seasons, but they are the worst side in the league, man. They're so bad, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think
The thing
you
is,
put them in the Championship, and they don't get out of the Championship.
that's what I was just
I
about
don't
to
know
say.
how they're
Without Sean
surviving. I
Dyche,
don't know how they're.
But that's what I mean, Jamie. Without Sean Dyche, like he's.
I think if you put them in the Championship now, I don't think they'd get back up. With Dyche, I don't know why. I know that's so stupid to say because they're surviving in the Premier League, but I don't know what it is. I feel like when they have to take the game, when they have to take the game to a team, they can't do it. And if they had to do that in the Championship, where they're the favourites each game,
the manager,
I don't think they get back up.
The manager argument as well is a bit of a topical one now because obviously we're focusing more on the AFL. Jonathan Woodgate's just been hired as the Bournemouth manager till the end of the season, which is a strange appointment in itself. But to think they haven't really learnt their lesson because Jason Tindall failed clearly. Like,
but at the same time,
the best players in the league this season, and they're sixth.
At the same time, Henry was obviously favourite to take over before they appointed Woodgate, and he's done absolutely nothing in his managerial career that would suggest
what their recruitment process is like.
That would suggest
him being
able to do anything with the club. I feel like Woodgate actually knows a bit about Bournemouth and will hopefully be able to bring out the best in the players to an extent that Henry wouldn't, because he'd come in and he'd have not really much of a clue about the squad, and he's got no tactical nous. He's got no managerial, like
Charles calls out Thierry Henry.
He's got no managerial CV that could suggest him doing anything.
No, he has failed everywhere.
Challenging. Exactly.
I feel like if you're going to give... Go on, sorry.
It's like Gary Neville went to Valencia, realised he's a shit manager, and he basically just retired from management. That's what Henry should do. Like, he's been to Monaco, who have a very good squad. Was he not bottom when he left them?
Yeah, or second bottom.
And he couldn't even do it in the MLS. What's thinking he could do it in what is the hardest league in the whole entire world?
Yeah, it is the most difficult league to get out of.
I don't get how that was ever a logical
It's the same with Lampard, though, isn't it? Lampard took his first managerial job as in a Derby side who Derby should never be where they are right now. They shouldn't ever be in the bottom five of the league. They should be a mid-table or team that push for playoffs each season. And he brought that back to Derby. Like, he showed that he's a good manager to do that.
I think Rooney's doing okay.
Especially with the squad he's got. They've got such a poor team. They've got Colin Kazim-Richards.
Colin Kazim-Richards. He'll never... I think he's literally mine and Charles' meme player of the season.
Yeah.
Because the amount of times he's been mentioned, every time one of us were playing Derby, it was, if Colin Kazim-Richards scores, we get the deserve to go down.
I remember watching
Jamie, do we not deserve to go down?
But I remember watching the Cov Derby game with my dad, and I saw Colin Kazim-Richards, and I was like,
this 34-year-old man
and
who's
then my
playing
dad
in
was
Turkey.
My dad was like, how is this guy? Like, my dad's a bold, going grey, 45-year-old man. And
Colin Kazim-Richards is
about... that's exactly how
you know what, Charles? My dad's exactly the same. So
exactly.
I can understand what you mean.
And Colin Kazim-Richards is like less than 10 years younger than him. And he's still playing football and still being an absolute menace to both of our clubs. And my dad was like, I was looking for his Wikipedia, and you have to go to see how many clubs he's played for. It's an absolute joke.
He's
literally in 1666.
If you're going to give a manager like Henry a chance in the Championship, it needs to be from the start of the season as well. You can't bring him in halfway through the season expecting him to keep them in the playoffs or even
because they're just sack him. If he didn't go up, they'd just sack him at the end of the season. It's completely pointless.
And
manager needs to be there from the start. He needs to be there from the start of the season.
As much as I can slag off Watford, I think I used to be a bit against this, but I think hiring a manager quite in the unknown is quite not a bad idea at the moment in the Championship. You look at what Barnsley have done now is they hired Chicago Fire manager, was it, Charlie? That Serbian guy. Oh no, he's French, isn't he? He's French. I'm thinking of a different guy.
Yeah,
this French guy
Chicago.
has come with a completely different sort of not idea but philosophy on football.
Approach,
Yeah, and that's made a massive difference. Like Nuno came a bit from the unknown. And as much as Philippe Cocu started the season terribly with Derby, last season he succeeded. Same with who's the Forest guy?
Lamucci.
Sabri Lamucci.
yeah.
As much as he failed this season, last season they should have been in the playoffs. I think bringing that different style and bringing that different approach startles people.
It's better. It's better to do that than it is to appoint like managers like Pulis, Pardew, and just keep them.
Yeah, we've had in our group chat. It's the managerial. It's for the managerial ring that you don't want to be involved in.
It's horrible. It's absolutely
It
horrible.
actually is.
And I've had to endure three of the managers from that ring.
Yeah.
And it's honestly the most depressing thing I can ever. I would rather next season, instead of keep Allardyce, I'd rather just appoint some absolute random that I've never heard of in my life, just to
Give them a
see
chance
what
to
if
change
it
up
can
a bit.
work.
Yeah, and look at Siska
Yeah.
at Watford now. I know as much as Watford keep doing that Siska is getting the best out of those players because they couldn't score for the life of them at the start of the season.
They couldn't score against us either, but
they've absolutely
hard
murdered. They murdered Bristol City.
Yeah.
They look like they're a free-flowing attacking team. I mean, I don't rate some
Which
of
is
their
what they
players.
should be with the players they've got.
Yeah.
Bristol City have just appointed Nigel Pearson as well, which I don't know if I'll put him in
that's a strange appointment.
the merry-go-round of the
He is.
manager.
I probably would.
Keep somehow
I think he's in there.
I probably would. I probably would as well, to be honest. But I think he's probably one of the better managers out of that merry-go-round.
The managerial ring,
Yeah.
they're starting to come out because Mick McCarthy's been appointed at Cardiff as well. He's definitely in there.
Oh,
He's doing well though.
they're
They're
all,
seventh.
how do they all keep getting jobs? I know he's doing all right with Cardiff, but how do these managers, like Pardew? I'm glad he's not getting a job anymore. Pardew, Allardyce, Pulis, all of those types of managers shouldn't be given a chance anymore because they've shown that, yeah, they might have once had it, but they haven't got it anymore. So just
The thing is with those managers,
I'm definitely making a graphic of this managerial ring of fire, and it's going to go right in the middle of us three at the moment.
Yeah.
The thing is though,
Well,
with managers like that,
everyone knows what we're on about.
Yeah, I mean, it's just second nature now. Like, you could put one of their managers in the Championship and they'll go up. They'll go up to the Prem and they'll just sort of go, right, the only thing we're going to do for the next 5 seasons is finish third from bottom, fourth from bottom, and just be boring and not have any ambition and just sit there for as long as possible. If we go down, we go down. But I feel like it's like with Allardyce. If you would have kept Bilic, I feel like you'd be out of the relegation zone now. You'd be playing good football. And
even if you weren't out of the relegation zone, though, it's just more exciting to watch Bilic.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have sort of like it's the same. It's exactly the same as with Cov. Like, I know if we stay up, and also if West Brom stayed up with Bilic, and we've got Robbins. If we stay up, Robbins has then got a project, which is the same thing Bilic would have had, and he would have been able to sort of stamp his style of play on the Premier League a bit. And I know obviously the owners are the main issue because he didn't get back. But I mean, if he would have been able to get money and be able to sign the players he wants and build the system he wants, you'd be able to stay in the Prem comfortably for a number of years.
Yeah,
it's the same with us in the Championship if we can build.
I love defending Bilic because he is the most passionate manager I've seen at West Brom in so long. But part of it, you do have to kind of put the blame on him a bit because his signings were Grant Diangana, I think that was it, Ivanovic, obviously. All of them turned out to be awful signings for us this season. And I know it's like, that's not all his fault that those players haven't performed, but if they were his targets and he wanted those players and he would do anything to get those players, I've got to kind of put some of the blame on him. But my argument is I'd prefer to finish bottom with Bilic than 18th with Allardyce. Because I know that
if you go down, you go down. It doesn't matter where you finish.
Exactly. If we still had Bilic, I know we'd be playing more attacking football, taking the games to these teams that we should be taking the games to. Whereas with Allardyce, it's like sit back. If you get a counter attack and it goes in somehow, then hang on to the lead for the next 80 minutes. Whereas with Bilic, you take the game to them, and it's more passionate. You've got some sort of passion to him. Whereas with Allardyce, you look at him and he's like pretending to take a throw in, laughing, and it's like I prefer to be rock bottom with Bilic than I would to be 18th with Allardyce.
I used to be a real, and I think me and you had this conversation, Jamie, when Allardyce came in, that I personally didn't care about the football as long as it was getting results. But as time's gone on, and as much as I've had to watch this sort of style that Karanka's using, and it got Borough promoted, how like
How long
where
do
they
you
are
leave
now,
it?
how
It
in
got them promoted,
longevity's
they came
sake,
down after
how
1
long
year.
can it? How long does it last? How long can you play
Yeah.
that sort of football without? I'm trying to think if there's a
Changing your
word
style
for it.
or-
There's a word for the longevity of it. How sustainable is it? How sustainable can
Yeah.
you? How
Yeah.
like I can't.
But it's like I
don't
said
think
with
the
a
championship
project,
works
like
that way anymore. I
you
don't
have
think
to have a manager that can get the best out of every single one of his players and play positive football that can score you goals. Because if in the championship, if anyone can beat anyone, if you're not scoring goals, you're finished.
And look at the
It's
players
like
we signed. I don't
Forest now.
understand. I don't understand why you'd sign the type of players we have if we're going to play this hoofball system. Because you look at Hogan.
Yeah.
If we smash the ball, I mean, I've seen it. If we smash the ball at Hogan's head for 90 minutes, he's not going to touch the ball, obviously. Because if Grant Hanley, who's like built like a fridge, is standing behind him, he's not going to win the ball. If you bring a player like Sanchez in, you can't just smash the ball over his head because that's not the type of player he's Halilovic.
Yeah.
You can't bring a player like Halilovic in and expect him to just feed off scraps. The recruitment doesn't match with the style. And I think with a manager like I've watched, I had a little look at Plymouth because I quite like Ryan Lowe. They play. Look how well Jeffcott does. He's about 5'6". They play it on the
Just
floor.
come up from
They work the ball
come
into
up from
his
League
feet.
2 as well.
The 10th. He's doing
Exactly.
really well. I think he's a perfect fit, but I don't think we're going to do it.
That's the like the worry for me. Like, are we gonna, if we keep hold of Allardyce next season and just tell him that you've got one season to bring us up? I don't know what I'll do, because the only positive I'm looking at right now is that we get to go down and enjoy Championship football as a club that should be going into every single game expecting to have a good game and possibly win. We should be, if we go down next season and say we keep hold of all of our players that we've got right now, obviously minus like Yukuslu,
Well, no, just keep it. I'd say just keep it. Say you've got the exact squad you have
Say
right now.
if we've got the exact same squad we've got right now, we should be comfortably getting automatic promotion. Sorry, comfortably.
And I
if
think
we
the teams
keep
you're
the
going
exact
down
squad
with
we've
aren't
got,
better than you.
Sheffield United are a poor side. I think they'll finish mid-table next season.
So do I. I can't see him
but
going straight back up.
I think this whole like style of just, especially in the Premier League, of just sit back, like nullify the opponents and just hope for the best, and then hit them on a maybe one counter and score, and then hold out for the rest of the game. That doesn't work anymore, and it's showing, because teams like Sheffield United, you can see what they're like, where they are now. Teams like West Brom, Burnley as well. Burnley are doing awfully this season. I know they picked up a couple of results recently, and they've kind of pushed themselves.
I mean, they
back
will
up,
survive.
Burnley, yeah,
They
they'll survive.
always
Yeah,
do.
they'll
They
survive.
always find a way.
But that sort of style of football isn't going to work. It's not working anymore. Steve Bruce, that's a sort of similar style to what he's got at Newcastle. That's not working.
I mean, we're just naming people in the managerial ring of fire.
The thing is, though,
but that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Managers like that
This
have to
defensive
realise
style isn't working anymore.
the people who think it's a good idea to bring these managers into their club need to realise that the game's changing. Like, it's not
Exactly,
about.
that's what I mean.
It's not about just going into every game and trying to keep a clean sheet. It's about scoring goals now. Like, teams, you see in games where, I don't know what's a decent example, but you'll see 4, 5, 6 goals go in and scored by teams that shouldn't be scoring those goals. Exactly, because they play football that warrants that sort of scoreline.
That's what you did to Brentford, though. I think
Exactly.
I really like the way you play, because you play a high press, and when you get the ball, players like O'Hare thrive, and that's why you.
But that's exactly. Both of our goals came from that high press. First one was the penalty. Biamu pressed high. Put what's his name?
Rico Henry.
Rico Henry under pressure, and Rico Henry kicked him and won the pen. Walker scored. Second one, Rea tried to play it out to the right hand side. O'Hare
Rea's a terrible goalkeeper. Jesus.
And Walker spun and smashed it in the bottom corner. Yeah, he's so inconsistent.
I mean, even for the penalty, he should have saved the penalty, really.
Yeah, it was a poor pen and poor keeping. But it's like I say, when you play that sort of, I suppose it is risky football, because when you play against a team like Brentford, they could break that down. And if they do break that down, they win the game. But when it pays off, it's so good to watch.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. At the end of the day, and I don't really consider this enough. We're paying I'm paying £10 a game. I don't want to see.
Yeah.
I don't want to see us play 4 centre backs and 2 wing backs. That's not. I get it. I enjoyed the win, obviously.
If you play that really nice, like we did against Brentford, you watched the game. Like we played that high press, counter-attacking, slick football. If you play that for 75, 80 minutes and you're 2-0 up, then play the defensive style, because that's what you have to do to win the game. But there's no point when there's 1 goal in it, just basically throwing the game and turn it into defense versus attack, because it just, I don't know, it just doesn't warrant points. It doesn't work anymore.
I think we'll move on.
We could rant about the championship for weeks.
Well, we're gonna.
We will do.
I feel like that is a bit of a teaser of what's to come, really. So we're going to move on to the games, and I feel like to celebrate, we've all selected a championship style game. Am I allowed to say?
Yeah,
I'd say mine's EFL style rather than championship style.
So,
oh no,
I've gone with the championship style game. So, I mean, I can go first. If you want, let me just. I've just lost it.
I'll get mine.
I've just lost mine as well. I've got mine.
So I have mine. Obviously, because there's only 3 of us now, it's not really. It's just a 1v1. I feel like the best way to do it is it's
in the ring.
It is quick scope, no scope really. So you'll have 2 lives each.
Mine will be no scope because I've got no clue, I reckon. So I'm just no scope in these.
Well, you'll know mine, Jamie. Mine is, can you name every championship club since 2000?
Go on then.
Every club that has featured in the championship. There's 63 teams.
There's only 63
I
in
thought
20 years.
But I think there's a lot of mainstays.
Yeah, true.
Charlie's got me on this far.
I don't know,
Charlie's bread and butter.
I don't know.
Your bread and butter.
Like I said earlier, I was watching Coventry League 1 and League 2 for the past 8 7 years.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You've been watching Coventry League 1, so you know who's been going up.
That's true, and who's been coming down.
Let's go through it then. Jamie, I'll let you go first.
Because obviously I'm going to go for West Brom.
Okay.
Coventry City.
Yeah.
Birmingham City.
Try to go to a city. Bristol City.
Yeah.
Norwich City. Is it Norwich just City?
Yeah,
it's Norwich City. Norwich City.
No, it is. Yeah, it's NCFC, isn't it? NCF.
Yeah, I knew it was Norwich City, but then I thought, wait, is Norwich even a city?
A Forest. I can't think of any more cities.
Yeah.
Derby.
Yeah.
Wickham.
Yeah.
Burton Albion.
Yeah.
Preston.
Yeah.
Brighton and Hove Albion.
Yeah.
Rotherham.
I put my phone down. I feel like I know most of these. Yeah.
Fulham.
Yeah.
Wolverhampton Wanderers FC.
Leeds United.
Swansea.
I don't need to nod my head. You can keep going back and forth until we get a dodgy one.
Sheffield United.
Cardiff.
Sheffield Wednesday.
Huddersfield.
No.
Bit of appreciation from the opponent there.
What else even is there? Middlesbrough.
Reading.
Newcastle.
Brentford.
Sunderland.
Norwich.
Already been said.
I've said Norwich.
That's a life.
No. It's a long list, Dan. I can't remember.
He's the ref. He's the ref.
No,
he's
that
the
is a
ref.
lie.
Don't do that.
Charles, we want to get through these quizzes quickly. All right? That is a life.
True.
That takes away the integrity of my knowledge.
You've got to be on form.
All right.
So is it more go now?
Oh. Yeah, Jamie's. Yeah, that's right.
Bolton.
I'm trying to think of ones that just definitely won't have been said. Sunderland.
I said them. I've said them.
Did you?
I said Middlesbrough, Newcastle, and Sunderland all in a row.
I think we should do it. So you can lose your first life if you name one that's already been named.
I literally said them before.
I'm not gonna lie, Jamie. I've just got numb to all the teams you've been saying. Yeah. I won't take your life off. I won't take a second life off you for that.
Oh, okay, but you've got to say another one though, because I have said Sunderland.
Yeah.
Portsmouth. Did you say that?
Yeah.
No, I haven't said Portsmouth. Wigan.
I don't know. I can't remember who's been said now. Watford.
Haven't been said.
Don't think they have, no.
But I won't take a life off you again, Charles. It's just the first one.
Yeah.
I think your first life, you can have anything taken off.
Oh, I had one in my head then, but I completely Stoke.
Another City.
Burnley.
Yeah.
Leicester.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Doncaster.
Good one. We sent them
I don't
down.
think Bournemouth have been said yet, have they?
They haven't.
I think they have.
Oh, they
I
have.
said them, didn't I?
I think you might have said them, yeah.
Yeovil.
Yep. Good one.
Oldham. Were they not in the Prem? Am I thinking of a different team?
Oldham.
That
Not
was
on the
probably
list.
like,
Were they not in the Prem? Am I thinking of someone different?
Oldham
I think
were not
Oldham
on the
have been in the
list.
Premier League, but that was probably before. Oh no, maybe not. No, they
They've
might
been in.
not.
Oh no,
I'll
you said
fact check for you.
2000, didn't you? Oh, I've
Yeah,
completely
that's what I
forgot you
mean.
said
That's what I mean.
2000.
It's
I think that could be
2000.
game.
Yeah, I think it is. I completely forgot the 2000 part.
Fair
of it.
play, Jamie. You've held your own quite well there.
I wouldn't have said them if I
Yeah,
knew.
sorry.
There's some
2000.
decent ones you've missed. So
Let me
QPR.
try and say
Oh,
something.
sorry.
QPR. Swindon.
Was that
No,
not before
no,
2000?
No. Bristol Rovers.
No.
Peterborough.
Yeah, Peterborough.
Sure, Peterborough have. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some really niche ones that I know you won't get. So Stockport County was one of them.
No, I wouldn't have said that.
Tranmere, Walsall were in the
Bloody
championship
hell.
for a season.
Yeah.
Wimbledon, but obviously old Wimbledon, not AFC. MK Dons, Charlie, good
Yeah,
one.
I was about to say MK Dons.
Ipswich, no one said. Jamie said Norwich, no one said Ipswich. Grimsby Town had played. Gillingham. Doncaster was a great shout. Crewe Alexandra had played in the championship. Colchester.
Jesus.
I'm trying to think who else you didn't. I think that's it. Blackpool was the only one.
I don't think anyone said Rotherham.
No one said Villa.
I said Rotherham.
Oh yeah. I was just trying to think of them all like lower down. Like,
Anyone say Man City?
Man
No.
City.
Man
Oh
City on
yeah,
the
Man City. Played
bloody hell.
in there. Yeah. Plymouth. Did anyone say Plymouth? I don't think so.
No.
That's pretty much it. Southend was the only other one you missed, and Southampton. But other than that, I think you did all right.
That I completely forgot. It was 2000. That screwed me over, man.
Right,
I'll go next because mine's relatively long. It's quite long at the start, but I feel like the pressure could pile and you could get a bit confused. So you have 3 lives, and you both start off by naming current championship teams. If one of you gets one wrong or can't think of one in the time, so I'm literally going to do it so it's like 5 seconds for each one. If you can't think, then the person who doesn't get one moves down to League One, starts naming League One teams. And then if you get a League One team wrong, then you move down to League Two.
And after
And
League
once
Two,
you
you're
get a
out.
League Two one, you're out.
That's a
gonna win
really
this,
good quiz.
definitely.
Oh
gonna
mate,
win
this
this,
is gonna be
100%.
no, this is gonna be stressful. I'm not good
But
under
it's
pressure.
going to be
Doesn't have to
like
be
a
in-
proper.
It doesn't
like-
have to be in order of like the league.
No,
table.
obviously,
No.
obviously not. Just any
Yeah.
championship team. If you then can't think of
Can
one,
it be 10 seconds instead of 5?
Yeah, I'll do 10 seconds. And
I feel like
but
I'd really bottle it.
if you then can't think of one in the time allocated, you then start naming League One clubs. So
Oh,
you're sort of trying to keep in the leagues before you get relegated to the National League. Anyway,
oh.
so
Before you get relegated to the national.
we'll let Dan go first because Jamie went first. So I'll
You ready?
go.
Bournemouth,
Norwich,
Bristol City,
Yeah.
Watford,
Birmingham,
Yeah.
Swansea,
Brentford,
Stoke,
Barnsley,
Yeah.
Huddersfield,
Cardiff,
Derby,
Forest.
Yeah.
Luton.
Yeah.
Oh, who hasn't been said? Who hasn't been said? Swansea.
I'm so you've been
That's been
said.
Have they been said?
Yeah.
Oh,
Get into League One.
Oh,
Jamie,
no.
keep going.
So do I carry on saying championship?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
you
still
can
in
say
Championship.
championship.
Rotherham,
Yeah.
Wigan,
Yeah.
Millwall.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oxford.
Yeah.
Bristol City.
I've said them.
Dan said them.
Crew.
See, I can't remember who he said.
Yeah,
now.
I think they
Crew
are
are
in
in
League One.
they are in League One,
They're in
Charles.
League Two, aren't they?
They're in League One.
Are you sure?
They're
No,
in
I think
League
they got
One.
promoted.
Yeah, they
got
did.
promoted last season. Yeah. Carry on.
Peterborough. I don't know who he said.
Yeah.
No, I can't remember.
Swindon.
Yeah.
Accrington.
Yeah.
Shrewsbury.
Yeah.
This is why I'm going to trump you.
Doncaster.
Yeah.
Portsmouth.
Yeah.
Hull.
Yeah.
Sunderland.
Yeah.
Northampton.
Oh,
Yeah.
they got that one up.
Yeah.
Lincoln.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether he said Oxford.
I've
I'm
said
not sure.
Oxford.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Dan carry on.
Well, no, it's his go.
So more down to League Two now.
I mean, we did it for Dan in the Championship, but
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
said
he
I
only-
don't
he
know.
only
you can
asked.
name
I'll
it.
let
Name
him-
it in
I'll
5
let-
seconds.
yeah.
Name it in 5 seconds.
Swindon.
I've said them.
He said them.
Oh,
One more.
Come on. Yeah, he's gone. He's gone. Burton Albion.
Yeah. League Two now.
Exeter.
Are they in League
Yeah.
Two?
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh no! Gillingham.
Yeah.
Colchester.
Yeah.
I thought they were in League One. I was about to say them. Oh no.
That's it.
No,
You're
I
out.
genuinely can't think of one. So in the League Two, Morecambe.
Yeah.
Mansfield.
Oh, you Southend.
Yeah.
Stockport.
There, no way.
No.
Do I have to say another one? Barrow,
Well, I ain't
Harrogate,
got Forest Green.
Forest Green.
I swear they're top.
Yeah.
aren't they?
I mean,
They're near top.
that
Walsall.
wasn't bad.
Walsall, yeah.
Cambridge, Salford.
I think I did. League One saved me really because it dragged
Yeah.
dragged you with me, and I actually know a few League Ones. I mean, I've got to learn them.
Yeah, it's when obviously I was still in the Championship, but there was hardly any teams left. So you were already named in the League One teams. So once I got down to League One, I just didn't know who you said and who
Yeah.
hadn't, and whoever was left.
That was very good though. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Right, Jamie,
So mine's
to finish it.
less hectic. Mine is just most assists ever in the Championship.
Oh my God. This is where I'm going to really
This is
struggle.
really hard.
Yeah, it's quite tough. There's some
So
names on here that how far back.
How
does it
lenient?
go?
How lenient are you going?
and how many assists do they as well?
The bottom assist has got 29. The top top's got 72.
Oh, is that? I'm guessing that's all time, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all
Not
time.
one season. I was going to fucking say.
Yeah, it's all time.
I really don't know. I can't think of any.
What I
There you
think.
go, first.
Obviously, you can have 2 lives. You can
What
have
I think.
two,
Can
two
we have?
lives.
Can we have
Maybe
like
3 lives.
a little thing where we can ask for a club or
Yeah, I suppose.
because
I might not even be able to tell you the club.
I have one
It doesn't-
player in mind.
It doesn't say their club name, but I mean, you
Oh,
can try.
man.
And I'll try and.
Thing is, it's
I'll try and
Dan's
tell
got the
you the
advantage
club.
here. He's been watching Championship, though.
Charlie,
Obviously,
I have
there's some players on
absolutely
here that
no
I've-
idea.
There's some players on here that I've never heard of.
But anyway, let's go anyway.
Yeah, just try and get through, and I'll just.
I'm going first.
Charlie can go first.
Yeah, Charlie can go
Yeah.
first.
Well, I don't want to say this and be really stupid.
This what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of players, and I'm thinking, has he got that many?
If he's got more than 29 throughout his career in the Championship, then
That's what I
same.
mean, I'm
29 's the bottom.
My brain just gone dead.
There's quite a few players on 29.
Lee Tomlin, Cardiff.
Yeah. Oh, do you want me to tell you how many he's got?
Yeah, go on.
46. So he's quite high up.
So I'd go, obviously, rest in peace, Peter Whittingham.
Yeah, he's top. 72.
Yeah, I knew he was up there.
Reed, that played for Forest. The big bloke.
Oh, Andy
What's
Reid.
his first name? Andy Reid.
I was about to sing the song and I can't sing it.
Yeah, 41.
Oh, that's a good one, man. Oh no, now I'm stuck. Wayne Routledge.
Yeah, 35.
Surely a Delta rat. He got like
That
25 in one season or something.
But I don't think he.
that was probably his only season.
I think that was his only season. That's
Oh
what
shit!
I was to say him.
Yeah, he's not on there. You got another life anyway, Charlie. I might give you 3 lives each, but is that going to drag it on for 2 lives?
Nah, I feel like this is really
Yeah, I
hard
thought-
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just do
Can
3.
Can I have a team, please?
Yeah. See, now do I give you the predominant team they played for?
Yeah, the second. I want the team of the second placed player.
Predominantly Middlesbrough. Let me have a look.
What has that done for you, Dan?
If I said, hold on.
Oh, that's just made me even more.
Shall I give you the team? Shall I give you the team he made the most appearances for?
Yeah.
Middlesbrough,
Right, I'm going to completely disregard that then. So, Charles, if you wanna take it off me, I'm going to go for Albert Adoma.
I was
who it is.
literally thinking of him.
That's literally who
Is
it
that who
is.
it is?
Yeah. 62. He's second.
62. That's really a lot better than I thought.
Obviously, that's obviously like throughout his career with Middlesbrough, Bristol City, Villa.
I think of like championship
Which I've got.
mainstays, but my mind's just disappeared. My brain's fell off my head.
Oh, I might have one.
My brain has fell off
he-
my head.
I'm trying to think
His
who's
all-time championship.
been in and around the top of the championship for that
All
long.
time.
Oh, I
There's a
don't
couple on here that
know how
you
long
definitely
he
both
plays
know, 100%. Like, there's some names on here that you both.
Are there some there that are
100%
still
know.
playing in the championship now?
Yeah.
See, I've got a couple in mind, but whether they've
I
got more
don't
than
really
20.
know. That's the issue. I'm thinking of players, but I just can't justify how they've got more than 29.
But I wouldn't have thought Adoma had got 60 plus.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
Mad that, isn't
that's
it?
crazy.
There's not even much point starting a countdown because I don't have anyone.
That's what. Yeah, that's what. I'm not
And
gonna.
if you start a countdown, I'll just won't have another one for.
I'm gonna give you
next
both.
time.
Like, I won't count down.
I might
But
win.
obviously, it's gonna come to a point where I
think
will
you might
tell
have
you.
won, yeah.
Like, for real.
I'm really trying to think. I'm trying to think of who are the best.
I'm trying to think of wingers that have been in the championship long, but then I think of a winger, I'm like, no, they haven't been in there that long.
You can ask for a clue, Charlie. You can ask for
Yeah,
a
you
clue.
still have
What about the club for the third player?
See, this one's a bit of a.
Well, he's asked now.
think it-
He's asked now.
I think I'm not even going to say who I think it is because I might be completely wrong with who I'm going to
Say
say.
you think it is, then tell me who it actually is.
He's made the predominant spell of his career was with Burnley.
I've got it. I think.
Did he play in the Prem for that long? I mean, the Championship for that long?
I think I had this
No,
guy
but
in mind anyway.
He's been in the Championship with other teams though.
Yeah, I've had this guy
So-
in mind anyway. I feel like I might have one.
If I'm going to kill myself, I'll kill myself. I think I'm going to kick
So he
myself.
hasn't made
if,
all of his assists with. He hasn't got
I don't
most
get
of his.
this one.
He might have most of his assists with Burnley, but not all
So
of his assists.
If
have
Charlie
been with
doesn't
Burnley,
get this
obviously.
right, I might don't say it, Jamie, because I feel like I know it.
Yeah.
Are
Well, I'm not
you
gonna say who it is.
completely stumped,
You
Charlie?
don't
What
have to
about
pick.
Anthony
You don't have to
Knockout?
pick out.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a
he's on
good
there.
one, man. So
He's
yeah.
got. I'll tell you how many he's got. He's got 29, so he's joint with the bottom, but there's quite a lot on the bottom.
See, I think the player you're thinking of, is it Robbie Brady?
No.
Is it not? Is he not on there?
No. Robbie Brady probably didn't play for them in the Championship, did he?
He must
I
have.
don't think he
He
did.
seems like one of
I
them
don't
players.
know. He might have. He played for Hull before he
I
played.
think I might have one.
I think Brady's probably only ever played for maybe Hull in the Championship, but not a lot.
Oh, lads,
He did play for Hull, didn't he? Yeah, Hull.
Yeah.
He's only ever played for Burnley in 2017, Dan.
Shows how much I watched
And when he
Burnley.
played for
How
Hull,
old is this player?
when he played for Hull, they were probably in the
They're in
Premier
the
League as
Prem.
well. Yeah.
So we're on one life each now. That
No, two.
knockout shouts are
2 lives each. We're doing 3 lives.
You got 3 lives. You got 3 lives.
Oh mate. Oh,
You
this
can have
Burnley one's
unlimited.
gonna
You can have
kill me.
unlimited clues. You can have unlimited clues.
Give me the team for the 4th place.
Oof. I'm pretty sure it's Burnley again, but let me
Oh,
just
for
check.
fuck's sake!
Oh.
It might not be. I
literally
could be
not.
completely wrong. Oh no, I'm thinking of the wrong person. I know.
See,
who I was
I've got
thinking
one
of.
in mind for Burnley, Charles, but again,
Oh, the one he made most of his appearances for Blues.
well then I should know it, shouldn't I?
Yeah, because you should know someone that has played for Burnley and Blues.
And has got a lot of
But
assists.
he didn't play for Burnley. He didn't play for Burnley.
Oh, he didn't play for Burnley.
How
No, I was thinking of a completely different player.
how long ago is this?
Shall I tell you how long ago, what years he played for Blues?
Yeah, when-
Obviously,
Yes, it's not gonna
Charlie's
help
goal,
me.
So 2011 to 2014.
Jesus
He
Christ.
also played for Forest and Cardiff. Might as well just tell you those two as well.
Damn, you should really get that. I don't know whether he would have 29. I'm just going to go Matty Cash.
Matty Cash definitely hasn't got 29 assists.
How old is he?
No.
I'm
He's
not
only
sure how
got
long he's been
21,
playing.
22.
No,
I can't
Cash
think
isn't
of
on
anyone,
there.
man. I can think of one more player, but I don't know whether to say him.
He's played for Forest and Cardiff as well as us. And was he a winger?
Yeah.
Who's
Oh my God, I think I might know who it is.
Should I know it?
I don't think I've ever heard of him, to be fair. I don't think
I don't know who it is then.
Who's that?
Obviously, that was when West Brom were in the fucking Prem, and I was quite young, so I wasn't able to really watch the Championship.
Oh,
Tell
I've
you
got a
what,
couple. I've got a couple more in
absolutely
mind. Man.
stumped.
You can ask for a clue for someone else, Dan. You don't have to stick
I
with
can
it.
have a clue for like 6th, but I'm still going to
fifth.
keep thinking of this.
6th made his predominant club appearances. I know he definitely did play for Sheffield Wednesday, but he didn't play for Sheffield Wednesday. He made most of his appearances
This guy, man.
Leeds.
Oh my
Please.
God. I think I've got another one now.
Oh, so this is a Leeds player.
No.
Do you want me to tell you who else he played for as well?
Go on.
Played for Cardiff, Leeds, Fulham, Villa, Forest. And that's it. In the
He's played for Villa?
in the Championship.
Bloody hell, that's some big teams.
And I can't think. Am I all right?
Don't think of just wingers though. You're both thinking of just wingers. So it's going to be more than just wingers that are on the top assist of all time in the Championship.
Pablo Hernandez.
He is on there.
Yeah, that was
not him.
one.
Yeah,
that was the one I just said.
He's on half.
So you were lying to me when you said, "Is it a Leeds player?" And you said no.
I've got 3 in my head, but they just could all be so wrong. I'm gonna go with Adam Lafondra.
Adam Lafondra?
Did he not play for Reading for years?
Yeah, he did, but I don't think he's made that many assists, has he? Was he a goal scorer? Was he a striker? An out striker?
There's a few strikers on this list.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
See, this is why
Lafondra's not one of them, but
I think I could go because we've now Charlie's on 1, I'm on 2, and I lies.
Yeah.
So I might go with an outside shout here.
Go on. Then.
Just go for it.
I'm going to go Rudy Schustedt.
No. What would you possibly go for Rudy?
Because I thought he played partner to Jordan Rhodes, and he set up a lot of Rhodes' goals.
He's not on the list, obviously.
What about
if I don't get this Blues player?
You two are gonna fucking kick yourself, man.
I actually am. I'm going to leave the call as soon as it's finished. What about is Al Mohammadi on there? I can't think of anyone.
It's an absolute disgrace. People are supposed to take our credibility as Championship fans. We said
Obviously,
Rudy
he's
just
not
said
on
an
the
Elmer
list.
Hamnet. Right, let me try and think of this
I
blue
feel
player.
like I had 3 players, and the one that I said is on the list. The one that I didn't say, sorry, is on the list.
Say the one that you were going to say.
Well, you're
Jordan
out now
Much.
anyway, so you might as well just say
Jordan
it.
Much was the one I was thinking of for Blues, but I don't think he's there.
He's not.
There's no way he got loads of assists. Because the only player
He's
I
not
can
on the
think of,
list.
there's the only player I
don't
can think
know
of that
then.
played for Blues and Cardiff is Jordan Much, Emir Hughes, and well, don't say it. Is Seb Larson on there as well? Not that he.
No, I don't think so.
What?
So Seb Larson played a load of seasons in the Championship for us.
No, Seb Larson's not on here.
Jesus Christ!
Do you want me to tell you who it was?
You can
I
ask
don't know if
them.
you'll even know who it was. Chris Burke.
I'm trying to think of other
I'm
players.
guessing you.
That we
I'm
no one
guessing you knew
clip
who
that.
was then.
No one knew what. No one clip that, please. That is an embarrassment. He's literally one of the best players I've seen play for us.
Well done.
I forgot he played for
Do you
Forest.
both want to just? You're both out now anyway, aren't you?
Yeah,
Damn
just
boy.
tell
Should we
us.
just try? Should we just try and name some?
Yeah, just name some players that you
I
will
don't have
probably
any.
gonna
I
not.
genuinely can't think of any.
What about
I'll tell you the one who was
Sergi
the one that was
Canos?
for Leeds at predominant.
what
Ross
about
McCormack.
what about Jamie?
Oh, Ross McCormack.
Ollie Watkins.
No, Ollie Watkins isn't on the list.
What about
Sergi Canos.
No,
Saeed Benrahma.
Jensen?
they're players that have only played maximum like 2 seasons in the league.
Yeah, I know they, but
Um,
these are the only players I can think of.
I don't know why.
Okay, do you want me to
I
just
don't know
start
why I can't
naming
think
them
of
Yeah,
from
start
bottom
naming
to
them.
top? Jay Bothroyd, Henry Lansbury, Troy Deeney, Tommy Smith, Luke Freeman, George Boyd, Chris Eagles, Gary Taylor Fletcher, Billy
Chris
Sharp,
Eagles.
Gary Taylor Fletcher's on there. Oh my god.
Fernando Forestieri,
Oh, that's
Luke-
Is
Lucas
Adam
Jukovic.
Reach on there?
Lucas Jukovic.
Jamie, is Adam Reach on there?
Yeah, I've seen his name. Yeah, he's on there. Adam Reach, Wes
I can say
Houlihan,
him as well.
Robert Snodgrass, Joby
Oh, the
McAnuff,
Snod father. I've met
Jonathan
Jody
Howson,
McAnuff.
Oliver Norwood,
No, we've had an absolute sting.
Danny Fox, Kieran Trippier, Jamie Patterson,
Ben Davis.
Jamie Ward, Ben Davis, no. Tom Kearney.
Oh, I don't think you can.
Thomas
But
Ince.
just don't embarrass us anymore.
Yeah, that's really bad.
That shows. I mean, if you like Championship content, make sure you stick around because there's going to be a lot more of this lack of knowledge until we actually start to. I think what will come is we're going to have to research a little bit more and watch a few more Championship games than we currently are.
The thing is, it's annoying that question. Like it's not just Championship, it's EFL because obviously Cov haven't been in the Championship. Like all of them players I've obviously heard of, but I can't.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Specific
the
clubs
players that
and
I probably
specific
wouldn't have said.
amount of seasons they've played for.
And
They're probably players I wouldn't have said, but obviously you've heard of every single one of them.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
on that note, we'll see you next week. We hope you like the new style. Make sure you subscribe if you're still here an hour and how long in to record it. And yeah, see you next week.
The Modern Game Podcast.